Hey, it's Marko here from Fair Realty. So today I'm talking about the listing agent being present during showings. Sometimes this makes sense. For example, a large acreage, luxury property that's $4, $5, $6 million, where some things might not be evident just walking through the house. Sometimes the tenants request the listing agent be present. Sometimes it makes sense. Most often it does not make sense, but I'm noticing a lot of listing agents being present at showings in the last couple of years. And why is this? Well, this is because when listing agents go into presentations, they need to differentiate themselves from the other 1,400 agents competing for the seller's business. So they'll say, unlike the other agents that put on a lockbox, I'm going to be present for the showings, so I can sell this property to the buyer. I know the most about the home, so I'll be able to answer questions right away, etc., etc. Sounds great in theory, and it adds extra value or perceived value to the seller. So a lot of agents are using this tactic to secure listings, saying they'll be present for every single showing. The problem is, in reality, I just don't find it works that well, and I have a lot of experience with this. So with my father, we've been building homes for the last 15 years. About 11 years ago when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, so I'm designing the concept of these homes, I'm involved in the construction, I'm going to be present for all the showings when the buyer and the realtor come to point out all the extras we did in these homes. And I did that probably for the first 3-4 homes we built after I became a licensed realtor. It did not help one bit. I'd be going on about how we used all this plywood instead of OSB, and the buyer would be like, sorry, I don't like the neighbors, or the flow of the house doesn't work for us, or whatever. So for the last 9 years, I've simply just put lock boxes onto our brand new projects, told the buyer's agent, feel free to go through the home. If you have any questions, just give me a call on my cell phone. I'll answer them on the spot. There's really no reason that I ever found to be present on properties, brand new houses me and my father are building, because typically what I had to convey was usually not aligned in terms of what the buyer was interested in. I've also found a few negatives to the listing agent being present in the last 2 years, where I've come across this a lot. For example, my buyers don't feel comfortable talking to me about that property if that buyer's agent is following us around. The second negative is scheduling. So a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to show a house on a sunny day, but the listing agent had to be present. He couldn't be present that day, so we had to schedule it to the next day. It was pouring rain, so it makes scheduling more difficult. Doesn't really make sense with COVID, having the listing agent present and more people in the same space. So listing agent present, unless it makes sense, as I pointed out at the beginning of the video, is basically a smokescreen to convey perceived value to the seller so that agent gets the listing. But I've probably represented, since I've noticed this trend, I represent around 40 buyers per year, so I go through hundreds of homes. There has not been many situations in my career where the listing agent being present has been beneficial whatsoever in terms of securing a sale. I think it's important for the listing agent to be available, so at the showing, or once we're done the showing, I can call him or her if my buyers have some questions, but them actually being present in person. Not to mention, a lot of these present listing agents simply sit in their car while we tour the house, and when we leave, they just lock up the house. So they're not really even doing anything, but they're there because they told the seller they would be present for every single showing. So, end of the day, unless it makes sense, I'm not a big fan of listing agent being present at showings. That's it for this week. Marko, Juras, Fair Realty.